recording has been started. Let me share my screen to you, and then actually we will talk about topic. Some of the scholars are asking question relevant to exam. What is secondary sort in last question? I didn't remember what is the last question. One scholar is asking in 1 week how it will easy for us. It can be in SQL there is nothing. Normally in the corporate training, the entire SQL that I have taken 4 days to complete on your side, that complete part is hardly completed within maximum 1 or 1.25 days, not more than this. So accordingly, they are also freshers, you are also freshers, so I think you are getting already sufficient time. Yes, it happens when a fresher batch is going to start their training in the corporate, then all that entire part normally we used to cover in 1.25 days. So in this condition, definitely you are getting more time. 4 complete days you are getting. Those who are saying that we are having DSA also, so for your kind information, I would love to tell them that they are having continuous 8 to 10 hour classes. So do not think that you are actually doing something special. You are actually covering the things in the slots. They have to cover entire thing in the one shot. So there is a huge difference. One scholar is writing, we didn't have to use subquery anywhere though only. Group by and join was sufficient. That's okay. I was just actually giving you a insight that such kind of query can be possible where you have to use all. Second question, I found answer, but it didn't get accepted. See, yeah. Yesterday also, when I was checking your chat on the thread regarding your problem, there also I found that many of the scholars are saying that I am getting the answer, but my solution is not accepted. First of all, again, same thing. You have to read the question very, very carefully because answer matching is a different thing and query acceptance is a different thing. If your query is accepted, means your answer is matching 100%. But if your answer is match, then your query is accepted. No, this is not the case. Second thing, in any question, if there is any discrepancy, if there is any issue, for example, let's say that your answer is correct, it is not accepting. In this condition, whatever be the adjustment, it will be done for you. Don't worry. It will be done for you. Left, right join, we have to use there. I didn't remember much of the question, so I cannot comment too much. But overall, yes, join and group by, they were together in many of the questions. They were together in many of the questions, and mostly this quiz is already given by previous batches also. Still, we will check because we used to actually shuffle the questions also, so might be possible. If there is any question where actually you are facing difficulty or there is some language problem is there or your solution okay but it is not accepted, in this kind of thing definitely we will take care. Well, so lot of discussion about your exam paper that you have taken on. The day of Monday is already done. Now again, it will be good to again just formal asking, shall I proceed for the today's topic? It is JDBC. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. So let me share my screen to you, and formally, I request all of you to please update both audio video signals are okay. Please update on chat. Both audio video signals are okay. Yes, all set, all fine. That's great. That's great. Okay. So now I'm going to start the topic that is JDBC. And for this topic, again, same thing. Those who have gone through the pre-class video as well as pre-class PPT as well as notes. Yesterday, those who have gone through the pre-class section, they have observed that for the day number 13 and day number 14, we are having common. For the day number 13 and day number 14, we are having common or same content because actually they are, that very, very closely related topics. So saying that this is day 13 content, this is day 14 content, in my opinion, slightly it is meaningless. I am not saying that it is 100% meaningless. Slightly it is meaningless. So this time actually what we have done for the day number and day number 13 and 14, I am having common PPT. And see, now coming back to the discussion, as you already know So far, we have taken a lot discussion about Java programming. And next thing, one scholar is writing, well, sir, give us Ratan sir pre-class. I have not recorded any pre-class. All the pre-classes content that you are getting, it is already made by Ratan sir. I don't know why you are asking this thing. Only PPTs are made by me. Coding examples are created by me. Rest, Notion notes, as well as pre-class assignments, whatever you are getting, they all are made by Ratan sir. So please, before placing any demand, at least think what you are demanding for. Yes, all of you are getting Anand's video, because actually Ratan sir is not supposed to record the pre-class video. The recording of the pre-class video is always done by the pedagogy instructor normally. So that content, how to prepare, etc., everything was under the supervision of Ratan sir. So this was the same content that was delivered to previous batch as well as to your batch. So please do not repeat the same thing again. Let me come back to the discussion again. So please now focus in the class. No more unnecessary messages on the chat. So very first point, I'm going to talk about the next topic, that is called JDBC. If we are talking about the technical definition of the JDBC, then as you can see in the PPT at the very first line, JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. JDBC is an Java API that is to connect and execute the query with the database. So actually in the previous 3 weeks, or if I'm talking about particularly last 2 blocks, block number 22 and block number 23. In the block number 22, we have actually gone through J8111 batch, where we had a discussion about Java programming. In the Java programming, very long discussion was there. How to create class, object, interfaces, abstract class, inheritance, polymorphism. And then if you remember, definitely the Sprint 4 of J8111 batch, lot of discussion was all about the collection framework as well as about the exception handling. Then we actually come in the SB101 batch, Lambda functions were there, file operations were there, threading is there, and then MySQL is there. So far, there is a common thought in your mind that Java is a programming language and MySQL is a database. So normally what happens, whatever variables, whatever objects that we are creating in a Java program, definitely they are temporary. They are having their lifetime that is limited up to their program execution only. If we wanted to store information for the permanent basis, then one of the way that we come across is serialization. And what exactly we are doing in the serialization? In the serialization, actually, we are writing the object into the binary form. But whenever you are writing an object into the binary form, then definitely you are finding one problem, that sir, if an object is having, let's say that 10 different fields, then definitely at the time of writing, not only a particular member is going to be written, entire object is going to be written in the binary format. Similar to that, at the time of reading, if we are talking about, let's say that reading an information, so in case of serialization, reading an information is not practical. You have to read the entire object in your memory, and once the entire object is there, then definitely then you have to filter the information. So serialization is definitely a mechanism to store the information, but do you think that it is suitable for very large amount of information? Update your thought on chat. I am asking, do you think that serialization is very much a suitable approach if we wanted to store huge amount of information? Let's say I'm asking about 10,000 records. Let's say I'm asking about 7,000 scholars of Masai school. Most of the answers, definitely I am getting no, because for example, let's say that we are having 7,000 scholars and assume their data is available in the form of serialized object. When their data is available in the serialized object, and then let's say at the time of unit movement, we are placing a demand that the scholar whose percentage in the last 4 evaluation is more than or equal to 60.00, they will be go for the next batch. In case of serialization, first of all, definitely all the 7,000 objects has to be deserialized. After deserializing them, we have to definitely iterate a loop over them. After iterating the loop, we have to specify the filtration criteria. And after specifying the filtration criteria, then ultimately, actually, we have to figure out that how many scholars are eligible for promotion to the next block. When 7,000 scholars are there, then maybe you may take a chance. But let's say if I'm talking about the data of CBSE, where let's say we are having more than 1 crore scholars. 1 crore scholars means 10 million scholars, maybe more than 10 million scholars. In case of more than 10 million scholars, if you are going by the approach of serialization, then do you think that you are having sufficient amount of RAM to store 1 crore objects in memory? No, it is. Definitely, you are not having sufficient amount of RAM to store 1 crore object simultaneously. Chances are there your application will be too much slow. Might be chances are there that your application will be crashed. So overall, what I'm saying, serialization is definitely a way to store the data, but it is not a very convenient way. Whenever actually you are saying that I wanted to write the entire object, I wanted to read the entire object, then definitely this is okay. But if you are talking about the other operation that I wanted to filter this object, I wanted to add new object, I wanted to edit that object, in this condition, definitely serialization is not a very suitable choice. Let's say if I'm asking you that you do the same job with the help of database management system, that is MySQL we are using. In the MySQL, in a table, definitely you can store more than 1 crore entries, no problem. Even more than 10 crore entries, you can store. There is huge amount of bandwidth available for you. And we have already gone through the MySQL SQL queries. So definitely, if I'm asking that I wanted to filter only those scholars whose percentage in the last 4 evaluation aggregate is more than equal to 60.00 and attendance is more than equal to 70.00, then definitely writing query is very, very easy. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So filtration is very, very easy. Second thing, if you wanted to actually edit some entry, then definitely you just need to write down one update query. You wanted to remove some entry, you can do this. Various different searching criterias you can apply. Adding the number of records, this is also very easy. Instead of fetching the entire record, if you wanted to have the selected columns only, then definitely having the selected column is also possible. So here overall the point is that if we are talking about the permanent information storage, then from a programmer's point of view, database management system is definitely a better choice. So everybody agree with my statement that for storing the information, definitely the database management system is a better choice. Yes, it is. Okay. Now, for example, let me take a very, very simple example for you. Say, I am a user. What is the meaning of user? User means end user. End user means the one person who is not technically equipped, who don't know what is Java, who don't know what is MySQL. Let's say that if I'm talking about a imaginary end user, and let me take the name of that user. For example, let's say it is Jugal. I'm taking some random name. So Jugal is an end user. He wanted to use my application. And definitely he is an end customer. So neither he is having any concern with Java programming, nor he is having any concern with MySQL. Overall, isn't it very much like that we are using Zoom application and such that at the time of using Zoom application, we are not concerned with the technology. We should just have the operating knowledge. Analogy is same. Kapil Agrawal using Zoom and Jugal, he is using Java application. Kapil is 100% not concerned about the how exactly it is working, what are the network connections are there, how exactly they are working, how my video is converted into binary stream, how it is transferred. I am not concerned with that. What exactly my concern is? Definitely my concern is I have to actually deal with the GUI that is provided by Zoom, and whatever be the GUI that it is providing, I just have to be operating it, or I just have to have the operating knowledge. And definitely this is called abstraction, but definitely to interact with the Zoom application, I am having a GUI that is called graphical user interface. If I'm talking about Jugal, if Jugal wanted to use my application, then definitely I have to provide some UI to him also. Yes or no? So that he can give instruction to my application. Let's say that he wanted to add some record, then definitely I have to provide him interface that here you need to fill the information. I have to provide him mechanism for searching the information. I have to provide him some UI for actually taking the data, deleting the data, whatever the operation, sorting, searching, etc., etc. If I'm talking about the UI, then definitely if I'm asking Jugal that the Jugal directly deal with the MySQL console or MySQL command line client, so definitely you will find that, sir, it is pure nonsense. Yes or no? Because let's say if Jugal is a salesperson at a store, then definitely he is not going to learn MySQL. Second thing, providing direct access of the database is actually very much like risking your database, because very high chances are there that a non-technical person may drop your database entirely. Second option, we should create an application using Java programming. And like, if I'm not talking about GUI, because GUI is a separate library, but even if I can provide a console-based interface like we are having in Eclipse input-output operation, like in the Eclipse, there is console available. On the console, we have to provide the input. From the console, we have to read the input. So even if I'm creating a command line interface based application for that salesperson, then definitely in this condition, don't you think that person can operate on my application very, very easily, even without having any technical knowledge? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And here actually comes one thing. If I'm talking about the interface, then definitely the interface will be actually provided by Java programming. But if I'm talking about the storage of the information, then definitely the storage of the information will be done by database. Both pointers clear? Yes, it is. Very common example. For example, let's say that he is a sales manager. So being as a sales manager, definitely he is having access to information regarding the inventory also. He is having access to information regarding the, you can say that billing information also, some customer information also. And if I'm asking that where exactly this information is stored, then definitely answer is very, very simple. Every time that, sir, this information is available into the database. So right now, what is the case? So far, we have seen that Java is a separate programming language and MySQL is entirely a separate database management system. Now the question is that, sir, if we are going to create a even console-based application where exactly user will be able to provide instruction, so definitely there must be some mechanism that my Java application and my database management system, they must be able to talk to each other. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Because actually there is, Java is a programming language. It is having its own syntaxes. If you are asking Java that, hey Java, do you understand SQL? Java will say, no, I do not understand SQL. Similar to that, if you are going to database management system and to the database management system, if you are asking, hey database, do you understand Java? Then definitely your database management system will say, no, I know only one language, that is called SQL. So we need some common technology, or we can say that actually we need some intermediate person. Or let's say that if I'm giving you a simple analogy, then definitely the simple analogy is very much like Java is, let's say that a Gujarati person. And if I'm talking about RDBMS, then let's say that RDBMS is a Spanish person. The Gujarati person says that I do not know Spanish. The Spanish person says I do not know Gujarati. So definitely right now communication among them is not possible. So in this condition, definitely better to hire a person who knows both languages, that we are calling translator. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So if I'm talking about the translator here, then definitely the translator is actually JDBC. That is called Java Database Connectivity. So what exactly the JDBC is, you can see it very, very clearly into the line of the PPT, that JDBC is a Java API to connect and execute the query with the database. So what is the use of JDBC? In the simple language, you can say that, sir, whenever we wanted to connect our Java application to database, then definitely we have to use JDBC. Point is clear, everyone? What is the use of JDBC is? Yes, it is. That's good. Now, if I'm talking about the database, that is RDBMS, then definitely practically see. If I'm talking about Java, then let us keep initially the discussion limited to Java programming only. Java programming is there. And if I'm talking about database, then definitely for the database, again, I will say that multiple different choices are possible. For example, for a small application, you can use MS Access. You can use MySQL for comparatively larger application. You can use MS SQL also. You can use IBM DB2 also. You can use Postgre. You can use Ingres. And for very large application where you are having ample amount of budget, there you can go with Oracle. So right now in front of you, I have already taken name of approximately 6 to 7 databases. I have given you that Java can connect to any database. The any database can be MS Access, it can be MySQL, it can be MS SQL, it can be Postgres, it can be Ingres, it can be IBM DB2, and it can be Oracle. So some 7 names I have already told you. So now there is one common thing that arises in our mind, that, sir, when you are talking about the 7 different databases, then for 7 different databases, it seems like that SQL is a common language. Then I will say yes, SQL is definitely a common language, but I will say that SQL is common across the platforms by some 90%, because database to database some minor variation is possible, but I'm not saying that it's a major variation. Second thing, if I'm talking about the data types, then definitely for every database, data type may change. So don't you think that for the JDBC, it is somewhat very challenging job to deal with very different types of databases? 7 choices, I have already told you. So overall, the problem is that we are having one common API, and definitely that common API has to be compatible with a lot of different databases. So simple point, I am asking, is it possible to write down a universal implementation for all the databases? Practically, answer is no. Practically, answer is no. You cannot write down any common implementation for all the databases, because every database is having different data type. Every database is having different structures. For example, if I'm talking about the data type, then you have already seen char and varchar data type in MySQL. Yes, it is. When you go to the Oracle database, then there you will find that actually in the Oracle database, there is one data type available, name is varchar2. So one side MySQL says that I'm having varchar, Oracle is saying that I'm having varchar2. Incompatibility is there? Yes. I have taken only 2 names. If I'm talking about some third database, Postgre, it is having different semantic. If I'm talking about the third database in Greece, it is having different semantic. If I'm talking about IBM DB2, it is having a different semantic. So overall, similar to that, if I'm taking the next example, then you have already seen in case of MySQL, distinct keyword can be used only with a single column name. Yes or no? Yes, it is. But in case of Oracle, situation is different. You can use distinct keyword with a combination of columns. So every database is having different feature, and when every database is having a different feature, then definitely if you are going to write a common implementation, then definitely, first of all, practically it is kind of impossible. Why it is practically kind of impossible? Because in future, if your database is coming with a new version or if with some new functionality, then don't you think that it is going to be problematic that you need to update the library every time? Yes, it is. And let's say that if some database is getting discontinued in future, then are you going to remove that code? So overall, you will say that, sir, this kind of programming is not good. Second thing, if I'm talking about Java programming, then I am saying that using JDBC, you can actually connect your Java application to your database. Now let's say that in the market, we are having some 20 popular databases. If I'm talking about the 20 popular databases, if Java is containing the code to connect to all the 20 popular databases, then don't you think that your Java setup is going to be unnecessarily too heavy? Such that out of the 20 database in your entire lifetime, you are going to use hardly one or two databases, or maybe three, but not more than three normally. So in this condition, it looks like that, okay, sir, JDBC is used to provide the connectivity to the database management system, but actually at the ground level or actually at the implementation level, lot of difficulties are there. Lot of difficulties are there. Coming back to discussion, did you remember in the JA111, I talked to you one very important topic that is called interfaces. And when I was talking to you interfaces, then I told you one thing, that interfaces used to define the common contract across the classes such that that common contract can be implemented by different classes according to their own demand. Remember this point? That interface is used to define a common contract, not implementation, such that this common contract is going to be implemented by different classes according to their own need. So those who remember this, now see, if I'm talking about the JDBC, then JDBC is practically not providing connectivity to any of the databases. Mind my word very carefully. I'm saying practically or directly, JDBC is not providing connectivity to any of the specific database, but JDBC is actually providing a Java API to connect and executing the query to the database. Now it looks that what is the difference? Initially, I told you that JDBC is used to connect to the database. Now I'm saying that a lot of databases are there, and definitely Java is going to be very heavy if it is providing implementation to every database. So I'm saying that JDBC is actually not providing connectivity to the database, but JDBC is actually providing a Java API to connect and executing the query with the database. Now let me solve this mix-up. If I'm saying you that JDBC is a Java API, so whenever I'm talking about Java API, so in the Java API, normally we are having inbuilt classes and interfaces, yes or no? Like you have already seen in the collection framework, interfaces are there, inbuilt classes are there. Okay. Now what I'm saying, in case of JDBC, mostly I'm having interfaces. In the JDBC API, mostly I'm having interfaces. Like if I'm talking about the name of the interface, there is one interface available named connection, another interface available named statement, another interface available named prepared statement, another interface available named result set. So if I'm telling you that in the JDBC API, mostly I am having interfaces. So can I say that JDBC is actually providing a abstract framework, or JDBC is actually just providing the list of methods, but not implementation? Yes or no? Getting my discussion? JDBC is practically, or you can say that JDBC API is containing most of the interfaces. Because it is containing most of the interfaces, so actually it is providing the contract only, but it is not providing the implementation. Now what happened? Okay, sir. So JDBC is having the interfaces only. I will say mostly it is having interfaces. Now second question arises that, sir, if it is having interfaces, then definitely for the interfaces, implementation is a requirement, because without implementation, definitely an interface is of no use. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So now listen, how exactly this problem is addressed. JDBC API is a common standard. What is the mean of common standard? It is having common interfaces that is actually common across all the types of databases. Now, let's say that Kapil has created MySQL database. Listen to me very, very carefully. Kapil has created MySQL database, and now Kapil is saying that I wanted to write down a connector that will connect Java application to the MySQL. Repeating my word again, let's say that Kapil is saying that I'm going to write down a connector that will connect Java application to the MySQL. So can I say that Kapil is going to write down the JDBC API implementation that is specific for MySQL? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Now let's say there is one more database available. Name of database is Oracle. And this time, let's say that Zahid Haider is saying that, sir, I wanted to write down a connector. So I will say that, Zahid, definitely you should write down a connector. But while writing the code, you should implement the interfaces that are provided by JDBC API. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Then Shubham Bhatti says that, sir, I wanted to write down connector between Java and MongoDB. I will say, yes, you should write down. But again, you should implement the interfaces that are provided by JDBC. So now listen, I'm talking about three different connector. First connector for MySQL written by Kapil. Second connector for Oracle written by Zahid. Third connector that is by Shubham written for MongoDB. This time, three different databases are there. And let's say then Ashish Tripathi is coming and Ashish says that, sir, I wanted to learn JDBC. So definitely in this condition, I will say that Ashish, learning the JDBC is definitely a great solution, because you are going to read the common API, you are going to read the common method that are actually implemented for every database differently. But because you are a user and definitely all the interfaces are there, so if you are using an interface, then definitely you should use reference variable of the interface. You will be able to call the method that is defined in the interface. Whatever be the implementation you are using, you don't have to worry about the same. Yes or no? Getting my point? Because for all the different type of database, we are having common set of interfaces, we are having common set of API. So for example, let's say that if Alok is a user who is actually saying that, sir, I wanted to connect Java application to MongoDB, then I will say, don't worry, you have to talk about the connection interface, you have to talk about statement, prepared statement, and you have to talk about result set. Then next scholar Swapnil is coming to me and Swapnil is asking me that, sir, I wanted to connect to MySQL. Please tell me what should I read? Again, I will say, Swapnil, you have to read the JDBC API, means you have to talk about the connection interface, statement interface, prepared statement interface, and the result set interface. Then one more scholar is coming to me. Let's say that the name of the scholar is this time Vivek. Let's say when Vivek Chaudhary is coming to me and he is saying that, sir, I wanted to connect my Java application to Oracle database. Then again, I will say that, okay, dear, no problem. Just go through the JDBC API and there you should actually read about the connection interface, prepared statement and result set interface. So in all the three cases, can you see that I am not talking about different implementations, but I am talking about common API? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So definitely, actually, you can say that by defining the API in the terms of interfaces, actually, we are able to hide the implementation detail. In future, even if you are porting your database from MySQL to Oracle, from Oracle to MongoDB, from MongoDB to Sybase, from Sybase to MySQL, then can you see that, sir, because there is common interface, So even if the underlying database is changed, still we have to make minimum or almost no changes in the database connectivity mechanism, as well as queries that we are firing to database. So effect of change of database is minimum on the Java application. Can I say this thing? So from this example, what is the power of interface in Java programming? Is that clear to you? Yes, it is. This is what actual power of interface in Java programming is. It is actually saying that even for the different implementations, as a developer, you don't have to take care about the implementing classes, deal with the interface. In future, if there is any change, still actually your application will work. That's why we used to say that interfaces are actually offer high cohesion but very low coupling. What is the mean of high cohesion? It's all about interdependency among the modules. But what is the mean of coupling? Effect of change on one module on the another module. So that's why JDBC is practically not providing connection to any specific database, but JDBC is just an API. It is a set of interfaces and classes that is actually used by a particular implementation for providing the connectivity. So this is the thing that is actually I wanted to convey you. So I think the discussion is clear why I have connected the same thing to J111 and what exactly JDBC is. Till here, if anybody wanted to ask anything, please write on chat. That's good. So if I wanted to connect my Java application to MySQL database, then definitely in this condition, don't you think that I have to attach an implementation that is specific to MySQL because JDBC is directly not providing anything? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Similar to that, if I wanted to connect my application to Oracle database, then I need to attach the implementation of JDBC API that is specific to Oracle database. The same thing is going to be for MongoDB. Same thing is going to be for Ingres, Postgres, etc., etc., etc. So overall, the pointer is that whenever you wanted to connect your Java application to any specific database, then definitely you have to attach the additional implementation, but that additional implementation is actually following JDBC API. So the thing is that if you learn JDBC, then practically you can connect to any database with some minor changes. Is that okay? Yes, it is. That's good. That's good. That's good. So now one scholar is asking that, sir, if I wanted to connect to MySQL, then do I need to implement the JDBC API? My answer is no. They are ready-made available to you. You just have to use them as it is. Getting my point, everyone? You are not supposed to write down in any API because writing API requires third level of skill. So overall, ready-made things are available to you. You just have to use them in your program directly. So overall, from this a lot of discussion, what is JDBC? This point is clear to you that JDBC actually stands for Java Database Connectivity. And JDBC is a Java API to connect and execute query with the database. Now see, in the JDBC API, particularly one component is there, and that component is called JDBC driver. You can say that we are having car. A car is nothing without engine. The same situation is here. JDBC is there, but JDBC is nothing without JDBC driver. So what exactly the JDBC driver is? The JDBC driver is a software component that enable Java application to interact with the database. A JDBC driver make it possible to do three things: establish a connection with data source, send queries, and update statements to the data source. So overall, actually, we can see that if I'm having a Java application, then definitely being as a Java application writer, I need to write down every code with the help of JDBC API. Being as a Java developer, I'm going to write down every code with the JDBC API. So actually, I can say that my Java application is using JDBC API. Internally, The JDBC API is actually forwarding the request to JDBC driver, and JDBC driver is, you can say, it is heart of the JDBC, who is responsible for interacting with the MySQL. Means actually your JDBC driver, it will actually make connection with the MySQL or any underlying database. Whatever be the SQL statements you have written, all these SQL statements will be provided to the database. Whatever result your database is returning, it will be converted into Java equivalent result by JDBC driver. So more or less you can see that JDBC driver is very much like engine of the car. It is very much like heart of a living entity. So without JDBC driver, practically there is nothing. Multiple types of drivers are available. You don't have to dive into the detail of different type of driver. But let's say that if somebody is asking you in the interview that what type of driver actually you are using, so your answer will be that we are going to use type 4 driver. We are going to use type 4 driver. What is the meaning of type 4 driver? The meaning of type 4 driver is just keep simple in mind. Actually, to connect the Java application to MySQL database, different type of driver were written. Type 1 driver were there, but the problem is that they were written with C++, so definitely they were platform dependent. JDBC, ODBC drivers were available. Type 2 was there, type 3 was there, but all of them were suffering from some issues. Ultimately, actually the driver was written in Java itself, or you can say that type 4 driver is actually written in Java itself. And if some driver is actually written in Java itself, then can we say that it is going to be portable? Yes or no? So if your application is using type 4 driver, then definitely you don't have to take care about the machine architecture. Yes or no? Or can I say that if you are using the type 4 driver, then definitely your code is going to work across all the machines successfully? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So always keep in mind what type of driver you are using. It is type 4 driver. What is the property of type 4 driver? The property of type 4 driver is they are written in Java itself. Because they are written in Java itself, so they are definitely portable. Means actually if you are migrating your application from one machine to another machine and you are using type 4 driver, then you don't have to take care about any portability issue, because Java itself is a portable language. Type 4 drivers are written in Java. Is that point clear? Yes, it is. That's good. That's good. That's good. So far. Lot of discussion we have seen. What actually JDBC is, what exactly JDBC driver is, how exactly they are getting connected, etc., etc. Now look at the third slide. In the third slide, you can say that how to actually download and attach connector for the jar file. Now listen, I am actually keeping my discussion limited to MySQL database, and you can see that for connecting the Java application to MySQL, actually the connector is itself provided by MySQL. Can you see that it is already available on official website of MySQL? So you know it very well that Java is a kind of very popular language, and you can say that it is having a lot of applications that are already written. So if I'm going to create any database, then technically or logically, definitely I always want that Java application should be able to connect to my database. So normally it happens that, see, any developer can write down the connector, there is no problem. But normally you will find that connectors are ready-made available. They are written by experts, such that experts may be hired by database team, or maybe they are actually freelancers, they may be open source, but connectors are ready-made available to you. So anybody can provide you implementation, but you can see that right now for connecting MySQL to Java application, already connector is available there on the following website. So I'm actually opening the same website in front of you. Directly, I'm coming to Google Chrome, and you can directly go to Google. Here you can type that MySQL connector for Java. directly you can write down also MySQL connector for Java. And you can see that first link is available. The first link is all about dev.mysql.com/connector/j. Pasting the same link on the chat for you. And you can see that isn't it the same link that I have written in the PPT? Yes, it is. Same link it is. So on the official website of MySQL, the connector is available there and general availability is there. I am actually downloading the connector for version 8.0 because the MySQL version I am having, it is also 8.0. If you are having any older version, then you can go to archive section, and after going to archive section, from here you can select for which version exactly you wanted to download. Getting my point, everyone? So best to stick to 8.0.32. And you can see that for the specific operating system, actually it is available. Now again, see, right now actually we are developing application on the Windows operating system. Chances are there that in future we can migrate the application from Windows to Linux. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So if you are using any operating system specific driver, then chances are there that there will be some issue. Yes or no? So don't you think in this condition better to use the platform independent version? Yes, it is. So directly after coming to this link, select operating system, and in the select operating system, click on the platform independent. When you will click on the platform independent, then you can see that two choices are available. Out of the two choices, you can pick any. It is according to your choice. So let me download the zip archive. So at the time of downloading the zip archive, it is giving me two options: login, sign up. Do not go with the either option. You can see that third option is available. No thanks, just start my download. So I'm clicking on this. And when I click on this, then you can see that MySQL connector is directly available here. So overall, how to download the MySQL connector. Is that clear to all? Yes, it is. And why exactly I am downloading? Because this time I am actually going to connect my Java application to my MySQL database. So far, we have learned MySQL separately, Java is separate, but this time, because we wanted to connect Java application to MySQL, that's why we are talking about this connector. That's why we are talking about this connector. Now going to next section. See, next pointer or the next part, if I'm talking to you, just a second. So download part, one scholar is asking for repetition. Okay, see again, link is already provided to you on the PPT. Just actually do one thing. You should copy this and come to browser, then paste and hit enter. After hitting enter, you can see one thing. There are options available. If you wanted to download for a specific operating system, you can, but I think it will be great if you should download for platform independent version. When you click on platform independent version, two choices are available to you. You can download in the tar format or you can download in the zip format. I have selected zip format. Once we are clicking on the download, it is giving actually three options. First option is to login. Second option is to sign up. And third option is available. No thanks, just start my download. Once you are clicking on just start my download, then this zip file is going to be downloaded into your PC. This is what complete process you need to do for downloading. And actually the good thing is that you need to do it only for one time. In future, let's say that if you wanted to connect your 20 different applications to the MySQL database, then you do not have to download the same for 20 times. You have downloaded it only for the one time, and that is more than sufficient. that is already sufficient. So you can say that I'm showing the same in the folder. After showing the same in the folder, MySQL connector J 8.0.32 is available here. So let me do one thing, that I am, let's say, cutting it here, and after cutting it here, I am pasting on desktop. Already some version is available. But let me paste it on desktop. So you can see that on the desktop, MySQL connector J 8.0.32 is available. Now, right click here, and if I'm going to extract the file here, then can you see that one folder is available? The name of the folder is MySQL connector 8.0.32, and when I have opened it, can you see that there is one file available, and this is actually an executable jar file. Able to locate? Those who have done with the downloading, extract the file, and after extracting, actually you will find that lot of different files are available there. But among the lot of different file, you can see that MySQL connector J 8.0.3.2 executable jar file is also available here. Is that point okay? Yes or no? And this is actually the file that is containing everything for connecting your Java application to database. Even this file alone is sufficient for you, but you should keep this entire jar file. You should keep this entire zip file. Why this entire zip file is useful, I will talk about the same also. So till that thing, downloading part is done. Till this thing, downloading part is done. After downloading, just do the extraction. After extraction, you will find that MySQL connector J file is available there. So I hope that you all have done till here. So shall I proceed for the further parts? Please update on chat. Yes, mostly I am going with the batch, and answer is yes. Okay. So this jar file is available there. Now, next part is there. Okay, sir. Jar file is there. But definitely, how exactly JVM will come to know that where is my jar file? Because by looking at all the discussion, it is clear that JVM is actually having knowledge about the JDBC API. But this time, we are connecting our Java application to MySQL such that the JDBC API implementation is actually available in the jar file. So can we say that JVM and jar file right now they are having no connection? Yes or no? Simple logic. JVM is having knowledge about JDBC only, and implementation of JDBC for MySQL database is available in this jar file. And as I have already told you that JVM does not contain implementation for any specific database. It is containing actually API only. So definitely JVM and this API MySQL connector jar file, they are entirely different. So this time, if I wanted to run my application, then definitely to run my application, two things I need. First thing, definitely I need JVM. Apart from the JVM, I need this MySQL connector jar file also. So just now I am going to tell you how to connect this jar file to your project along with JVM. Getting my point? Yes, it is. That's good. So see here. First of all, it will be good to create a project. So I'm available here, and it will be good to create a new project. Clicking on new. After clicking on new, I'm talking about creating a Java project. So SB101 underscore, I'm writing block 23 underscore, then I'm giving the name, it is JDBC demo. I'm giving the name that is called JDBC demo, and this project is for students. So I'm using ST as a prefix also, because some projects are already available. Yesterday I was doing something, so I created one project. So one project is created here. After creating this project, directly I am clicking on finish. And this project, it's better to close the project. Actually, some of the projects are already available here. Right click, paste, copy, delete, build path, refactor, close project. Okay. I do not want any confusion. That's why I'm closing this, and better to actually delete from this set also. No. Okay. Just okay. See here. Right now, when I'm actually expanding this project, then can you see that JRE is already attached? No need to attach JRE separately, because for the Eclipse, at the time of installation in the J111, we have already provided path. We have already provided path. Second, one more folder is available that is called SRC folder, and definitely in the SRC folder, we are going to write down all the code. This time what you should do, one thing that you should always do. I'm not saying that this is a compulsion, but this is a kind of convention. What exactly the convention is? See, I'm doing the right click here. After doing the right click here, I'm going to new option, and in the new option, I wanted to create a new folder here. I am clicking a new folder, and let's say that name of the new folder that I'm writing is lib, or you can give the name library. I'm saying the name lib, or you can give the name library. Into the lib folder, what exactly I am doing? See, here into the MySQL connector file, you can say that jar file is available. I'm actually copying the jar file, and after copying the jar file, I'm going to STS into the lib, then I am pasting the same jar file. So can you see that jar file is copied from the extracted folder to actually inside my folder, inside my project folder? Yes or no? Actually, jar file was available in a separate folder. This time what I did, I have actually copied the jar file from that folder into the lib folder that is actually residing in my project. Okay, this is the first step that I have done, but I'm saying that this step is not compulsory, but by convention, you should follow this step. Second point, see what exactly I am doing. Now, some simple steps that you need to follow, they are already available in the PPT. To import the jar file in your Eclipse IDE, Eclipse or STS, same thing, no difference in them. Follow the steps given below. First of all, right click on your project. Second, select build path, then configure build path. Go to the library section. In the library section, add external jar or add jar. Then select the jar file for the required folder and then click on apply and OK. So these are the 6 steps available that actually we have to follow. All the 6 steps copied for everyone on the chat. Now I'm going to follow the same steps in front of you. First of all, I have to do right click on the project. After right clicking on the project, can you see that there is option available build path, and into the build path there is option available to configure build path? Yes or no? These are the first 3 steps. Just right click on the project, then there is build path. Within the build path there is configure build path. When you click on the configure build path, then you can see this kind of dialog boxes available for you. In the dialog box, multiple different tabs are available. Source is there, project is there. We have to click on library. In the library, you can see JRE. In my case, it is version 17. It is already attached. We don't have to make any changes here. But next option is available that is called class path. When I click on the class path, then can you see there is option available to add jar? Yes or no? There are 2 options available. One option that is called add jar and one option that is called add external jar. Let me show you what is the difference. First of all, I'm clicking on add jar. When I'm clicking on add jar, then can you see that it is actually prompting me to select the jar file from the available projects? When I click on add jar, then it is actually prompting me to select the jar file from existing opened project. But on the other hand, if I'm clicking on add external jar, then can you see that I can select jar file from any location? Yes or no? So right now, actually, I'm clicking on add jar. Into the add jar, JDBC demo is my project. In the JDBC demo, lib is my folder. Into the lib folder, you can see that my SQL connector jar file is there, and I'm clicking on OK. After clicking on OK, if I click on apply and close, then can you see apart from the JRE, there is one more section available reference library, and into the reference library, MySQL connector jar file is available. Have you done with this? Yes, it is. So this is how actually you are connecting your jar file to your project. So right now, actually in your project, two things are working. First is your JVM, and second thing that is working is actually called your MySQL connector jar file. Now, one simple point that I wanted to tell you, why exactly I told you to copy the jar file into the lib folder first and then attach. See, for example, let's say that right now I am working on this project. What good thing I have done? My jar file is available in the lib folder, and lib folder is actually part of project itself. And I have provided the path of the jar file from the lib folder that I have already created in the project. Now the good thing is that let's say that if I'm creating a zip file of this project, and then let's say I'm providing the same to you on the Google Drive. When you are downloading the same folder from the Google Drive, then at that time, all the required libraries are already shipped with the project folder. Second thing, because I have already linked the library with reference to the project folder, so at the time of importing, you will not find any error. You do not have to attach the libraries again. Getting my point? That's why I told you, you can attach library from anywhere. You can attach jar file from any location. But in my personal experience, this is not a good practice that you should attach from any random location. Definitely it will work. In the learning point of view, it is okay. But if I'm talking about the best practice, whatever libraries you wanted to use into your project, first of all, copy them into the common lib folder and actually provide the link with reference to your project folder. The advantage is that when you are going to ship your project to any other scholar or to any of the batchmate, then all the libraries are automatically available there. So definitely the application is going to work fine. This is the overall mantra. So I think till that everything is smooth. Yes or no? Yes, it is. That's great. That's great. That's great. Now see, so connecting the jar file is the first part that is we have done. So far actually we have done just with the 3 slides. What is JDBC? What is JDBC driver, and how exactly to connect to the same. Now let us have some more discussion and we will talk about some more detail, but I think today you are feeling relaxed still. Better to have a break till 12:40, yes or no? Then we will start the implementation. Yes, it is. That's good. Okay. So it's a break for you for the 5 minutes. Yes, everyone. Welcome back after the break. So shall we continue? That's good. That's good. Recording is already started, I think. Okay. So actually, so far you have done with connecting the jar file to your project. And now here actually you can see that if I in the reference library, now actually I'm not expanding the lib folder. We are in the reference library. Enter the reference library. You can see that we are talking about MySQL connector J. In the MySQL connector J itself, can you see that a lot of packages are there? com.mysql.cj, com.mysql.cj.admin, .callback, .configuration, .conf.url, .configuration, .cj, exception, interception, JDBC. So if I'm talking about the official website, then definitely official website is www.mysql.com or it is dev.mysql.com. So is it evident that it is actually following the standard naming convention? First of all, top level domain, then whatever be the name of your website, and thereafter whatever be your structure of the application is. And actually into the com.mysql.cj.jdbc, I have expanded the package com.mysql.cj.jdbc. There you can see that there is one class available. The name of the class is called driver.class. Once I am hitting enter, And when I'm hitting enter, then can you see that it is showing source code not found? Yes or no? Now, for the sake of learning purpose only, if you are going for development, then definitely for the development, it is not required that you should attach the source code. But for the learning purpose only, definitely it is good to actually see the source. So how to attach the source? This is the next thing that I'm telling you. To attach the source, you need to just click on the attach source button. After clicking on the attach source button, again there is option available that you can provide the path corresponding to workspace location, or you can attach actually directly from the external location also. So it is your choice what actually you wanted to select. So for example, let's say if I wanted to attach the source also in the same project, then what I need to do, the very first thing I need to do is the zip file that is available for me on the desktop. I'm copying the zip file, and after copying the zip file, I'm taking this zip file directly into the lib folder. I'm taking this zip file directly into the lib folder. So right now into the lib folder, jar file is available. And apart from the jar file, zip file is also available. Is that clear? Yes, it is. So if I'm talking about right now again in the reference library, I am in the MySQL connector file. Into the MySQL connector, then I'm going to com.mysql.cj.jdbc. In the com.mysql.cj.jdbc, I have opened driver.class. Right now it is saying that source code not found. So I am directly clicking on attach source. After clicking on attach source, selecting the workspace location, clicking on the browse, then you can see that I have to select the path of this zip file. Click on OK, click on OK. So can you see that source code is also visible to me? Yes or no? Yes, it is. That's good. So right now, the source code of the driver class is visible. The source code of the driver class is visible. Once again, I'm giving you a quick summary what exactly I have done to attach the source code. See, first of all, attaching the source code is not compulsory for the development purpose, but attaching the source code is definitely beneficial when we are actually doing the same thing for the learning. To attach the source code, what exactly do I need to do? If I'm talking about the downloaded file, that is MySQL connector zip file. I have copied the MySQL connector zip file, and the same file I have pasted in the lib folder also. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And once I have pasted the same thing into the lib folder, then you can see that what actually I did. I go to the reference library. Into the reference library, you can open actually any class. You can open actually any class, but driver class is something that is useful for me. So into the driver class, there is option available to attach source. When you will click on the attach source, then actually again you need to provide path of this zip file. Once you are providing the path of the zip file, then definitely source code will be visible to you. Now, if I'm talking about the driver class, then first of all, what is the package? Definitely the package is com.mysql.cj.jdbc is the name of the package. And if I'm talking about this package, then can you see that the driver class of this package is implementing the java.sql.driver interface? Yes or no? Important line it is. Can you see that the driver class that is actually provided in the can you see that the driver class that is actually provided in com.mysql.cj.jdbc, it is actually implementing java.sql.driver. And if I'm talking about java.sql.driver, then definitely can you see within the java.sql package, there is one interface available. The name of the interface is called driver. So again, same thing. JDBC is actually providing interfaces. JDBC is saying that I will provide the interface only. Whatever be your database specific connectivity library is, for that database specific connectivity library, implementation will be provided by corresponding classes. And here, can you see that in this class there is one block available called static block? Okay, so static block is there. Okay, can you tell me that? Okay, two options or one simple question I'm asking you. A static block is executed. Option number one, when object is created. Option number two, when a class is loaded into the memory for the first time. Option one or option two? You have come across this thing in J111 batch? Yes, it is. That's good. That's good when the class is loaded. And when I was talking about the class loading, then I told you three different situations. The class is actually loaded into the memory. First situation, when the static method of a class is called. Second situation, when the static member of a class is accessed such that the static member must not be final. Case number three, when the object of the class is created. When either of the three situations happen first, then definitely the class will be loaded in the memory. Did you remember that? In J111, I had detailed discussion about the same. So some of the scholars, particularly I think it was day 6, in the day 6, day 5 was string, day 6 we were talking about static. So there I had discussion about the same. Maybe I think day 4 it was. Now, see, there is one more situation now I wanted to add. You can actually programmatically load a class also. If you wanted to programmatically load a class, then there is actually one more syntax available. The syntax is actually called class.forName, and then I am writing fully qualified class name. Please take a look at the syntax that is written on the chat. If you look at the syntax that is available on the chat, then before the dot operator, I have written a keyword, I have written a word, class, such that C is available into the capital letter. When C is available into the capital letter, so definitely it is not a keyword. So can I say that I am talking about the class in Java? Yes, it is. And second thing, after the dot operator, can you see that there is one method available? The name of the method is called for name method, and definitely the for name method is actually called using class name. So can I say that this is a static method? Yes, it is. So into the class date for name syntax, you can see that on the left hand side of dot operator, class is there such that the class is class itself. And if I'm talking about for name, then definitely for name is the static method of the class. The fourth situation is, three situation about the loading of the class. I told you first when the static method is called, second when the static variable of a class is used, third situation when I told you that object is created. The fourth situation is there using class dot for name. If you are loading a class, then also class will be loaded in the memory and a static block of the class will be called. Fourth situation is also clear. Yes, it is. And within the parameter, see in the class dot font name, in the parameter, actually you need to write down fully qualified class name. What you need to do, you need to write down fully qualified class name. So for example, let's say that if I wanted to load the driver class in the JVM, then definitely to load the driver class in the JVM, I need to write down class dot for name bracket open, then within the double quotation mark, I need to write down the complete path. The complete path is going to be com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. This is what actually I need to write down. Getting my point? How to load the class in JVM? This is the fourth way. So out of the given four situation, whatever situation takes place first, your class will be loaded in the memory. And when your class will be loaded in the memory, then definitely static block of the class will be executed. Is that clear? Yes or no? And definitely according to this thing, can I say that static block is going to be executed only once for an execution? Because your class is going to be loaded only one time. Yes, it is. Very less number of replies. I'm saying that for an execution, definitely class is going to be loaded only for one time. And because the class is going to be loaded only for one time, so we can say that execution is going to take place only once. Execution is going to take place exactly once. Now going to next part. So can you see that within this class there is a static block available? So can I say that when I'm going to load this class, then definitely static block will be executed, and this static block is actually registering the driver class or registering the object of itself with the JDBC driver. Yes or no? If I'm talking about this new driver, then definitely new driver means I am creating the object of class itself. Yes, it is. When I'm creating the object of driver class itself, because I cannot instantiate an interface, so definitely this is a class. If I'm talking about java.sql.driver, then you have already seen that java.sql.driver is an interface, and definitely an interface cannot be instantiated using new keyword. So when I'm talking about the syntax new driver, then definitely can I say I'm talking about the class only? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So can you see that using the java.sql.driver manager.register driver method, actually we are registering the object of driver class itself to the SQL? Yes or no? Itself to the JDBC? Yes, it is. So this is the step number one. This is the step number one for your connectivity. So now I'm going to show you that how exactly connectivity is working. But before talking about this connectivity, let me write down one very simple example about the static and non-static block for your better clarity. I'm talking about writing a very small example of static and non-static block. This is I'm doing just for your clarity. Now I'm in the SRC folder. In the SRC folder, again, I'm going to create a package. Let's say that the name of the package I am writing is, it's going to be com.masai school dot, let's say that name of the package I am writing is demo this time. Into the demo package, now I wanted to create one class. Name of the class, let's say that I am writing is A. Name of the class that I'm writing is A. Into the class, main method is there. And apart from that, I have created one static block also. Inside the static block, let's say I'm writing system.out.println, and here I'm writing that inside static block. If I'm talking about the next type of block, then can I say this is actually a non-static block? Yes or no? Yes, this is a non-static block. And here I'm writing just a simple line inside non-static block. After writing inside non-static block, if I'm talking about the syntax, so can you say easily that, sir, it's a constructor? Yes or no? Yes, it is. It's a constructor. So system.out.println, and here I am putting a remark that is called inside constructor. After writing inside constructor, then let's say that I'm talking about one method. Name of the method I'm writing is void fun method. Inside the one void method, then I'm writing here inside fun. I'm writing here inside fun. Thereafter system.out.println, and here I'm writing inside main. So you can see in the class A right now, one static block is there, one non-static block is there, one constructor is there. Apart from that, one instance method is there. In the public static void main, you can see that I have just printed inside main. So far, I have not created any object. Yes or no? Yes, it is. When I have not created any object, and if I am pressing Alt Shift X J means I am running the application. Then can you see that static block is executed first, and after execution of the static block, then finally your main method is executed. Yes or no? So overall, some pointers just I wanted to tell you about the static block. So you can see that the static block will be executed before the main method of our application, definitely. Second point, as soon as our application is loaded into the memory, then definitely static block will be executed. So here in this class, can I say that when public static void main method is called, then exactly it is executed? Yes or no? Simple logic. When public static void main is actually called by JVM, then actually the static block is executed, because this is situation number one. Whenever a static method of a class is called, then definitely class will be loaded, and because class will be loaded, so definitely it will be called. Next pointer, multiple static blocks are possible there, and multiple static blocks would be executed in the order in which they are defined in the class. According to this, for example, let's say that if I'm writing it inside static block number 1, copy, then I'm writing here inside static block number 2. Again, I have not created any object. And again, if I'm going to run this application, then can you see that static blocks are executed in the order of their writing? Yes or no? So just a simple thing that multiple static blocks are possible. So far, when I have not created any object, then you can see that non-static block is actually not executed. Non-static block is actually not executed. Let me do one thing. And this time I am writing a small a equal to new capital A. So I'm creating object, and after creating object, again, if I'm running this example, then can you see non-static block of a class is called when object is created, and actually it is called even before the constructor calling. Yes or no? Please check. Yes, it is. Simple logic, it is. So overall, multiple static block will be executed. Syntax you are already know. If I'm talking about the non-static block, then the non-static block actually executes when the object is created, but before the constructor. Second point, non-static block will never execute if we do not create an object of a class. Yes, it is. In case of multiple non-static blocks, the block executes in the order in which they are defined. So let me do one thing. Let's say that if I'm talking about inside non-static block 1, and thereafter I am copying, and after copying this part, then I'm writing inside non-static block 2. So let's say if I'm creating the object, and after creating the object, let me do one thing that I'm writing here system.out.println, and I'm putting a, let's say that new line here. I'm putting a new line here. After putting the new line, let's say that before this line, I'm calling a dot fun method. Then I'm creating one more object. Now please take a look at the output. Can you see that static block until main? I think there is no problem. Yes or no? First three lines. Yes, it is. After inside main, we are creating object. When we are creating object, so definitely both the non-static blocks are executed in the order of their writing, and then inside constructor. So this output is generated due to line number 30 only. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Then definitely we are calling the fun method. After calling the fun method, there is a line separator. After the line separator, you can see one thing, a1 equal to new a. Again, new object is created. When again new object is created, so non-static block is called again. Is that clear? So this was just actually to show you that how exactly static and non-static blocks are working. A static block we have already witnessed. In case of J111, non-static block was something additional. So overall, the pointer here to notice is when actually I'm loading the driver class using the class.fontName method, then definitely the driver itself is actually registering with the JDBC API. This is the point number 1. So can you see that initially, right now, using the static block, actually the jar file, or you can say that originally MySQL implementation is now registered with your JVM. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So actually it shows a straight utility of the static block to you. It shows a straight utility of the static block to you. So for example, let's say that if somebody is asking you, what is the utility of the static block? Then can you take this example? Yes, but I think difficult to explain. I think it is difficult to explain. Okay, let me show you some simple example. If I'm talking about the simple example to you, so for example, let's say that I'm having a object of map. Let's say that I'm having an object of map such that let's say there is a class available A. In the class A, there is one reference variable of map. And if I'm telling you that you wanted to initialize the map with 10 different elements. Listen my question very, very carefully. What I'm saying you that let's say that I'm having one class. Let's say that name of the class I'm writing A. Within the class A, let's say there is one static member available, a static map. Here I'm writing data type a teaser, then I'm writing here the value type that is going to be a string map here. If I'm asking you that you need to initialize this static member with 5 values for the map, can you do the same job using in the constructor? For the initialization, can you write down the code in the constructor for a static member? 100% no, because static members are getting memory at the time of class loading. Object creation may be there, object creation may not be there. So what can be the second solution? Let's say that I'm using the static block. Into the static block, if I'm writing map equal to new, let's say I'm writing about the tree map. Let's say I'm writing about the tree map. So can you see that initially I have created the map. Now using the map dot put, I can directly provide the value like this one. And definitely this will be actually termed as the initialization. Why exactly? Because static block is used to perform the initialization. Simple question. Can you do such kind of operation without a static block? Definitely no. And this kind of assignment I had already given to you in the J8111 in the collection framework. And this was just actually to create an awareness that how to use the static block, because this question was once asked to me in an interview that if I wanted to initialize the static variable with some constant value, then definitely I can do the same job using assignment operator also. So what is the exact utility of the static block? I use the same example and that interview was cleared. I want you to repeat the same experience. So I hope you are getting what exactly I wanted to convey you. Now, coming back to the discussion. So overall, first step, what is the static block? What is the non-static block? This thing is done. So shall we proceed for further connectivity? And for the further connectivity, see, classes and interfaces related to connectivity. This is actually kind of step number 1. The step number 1 is covering 2 slides. Then step number 2, it is again covering some 2 slides. Then step number 3, it is covering some 3-4 slides. So heading is same across some 7 or 8 slides, but overall the thing is that you should try to actually understand the steps one by one. That's why I have placed the numbering also. Classes and interfaces for connectivity. First of all, register the driver class using following method of class. Already discussed to you. Public static void for name method. In the string, we need to write down fully qualified class name. One possible type of exception is there, and that possible type of exception is class not found exception. Simple question I am asking you. It is a checked exception or unchecked exception? Option 1 or option 2? Option 1 checked, option 2 unchecked. Okay. Have you ever seen this exception? Yes, then press 1. If no, then write 2. Have you ever seen this exception? Mostly answers are yes, because if you remember the example of serialization and deserialization, then in the deserialization, if you remember the read object method, then at the time of downcasting with the read object method, there was an exception available, that is class not found exception. So those who have done some assignment, I hope that they remember that class not found exception is a checked exception, and we have already met through this exception. Why exactly this library? Why exactly this method is throwing the exception? Chances are there that, let's say, if you forgot to, let's say that if you forgot to learn about, if you forgot to attach the MySQL connector, and then you are writing class.forName method with com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver, then definitely it will throw class not found exception. Yes or no? Because this class is not part of core JVM library. This is coming from some external source. And because it is throwing the checked exception, so can I say that calling must be within the try catch block, or the method should rethrow the exception again? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, it is. Now going to next part. So see how exactly to load the class. To load the class dot for name com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver is what we are writing. Then there is catch block available. Within the catch block, class not found exception, reference variable is E, and definitely you can see that overall, sir, whatever processing we wanted to do, we can do. And this is the first step of connectivity also. I'm not saying that connectivity is completed, but this is the first step. What exactly happened in the background? The driver related main class will be loaded in the primary memory. This is the step number 1. Second point, Driver related main class object will be created. Driver related main class object will be created. Third point, that driver object will be registered with the driver manager class. So overall, first of all, definitely loading. This is the job of class.foundName. Second thing, object will be created, its internal mechanism. Third step, we have already witnessed that the driver object will be registered with the driver manager class. If you remember this code, then it is doing the same job. Statement number 3. Yes, it is, because if I'm talking about that statement, then definitely that statement is actually doing the job for you. Statement number 3, please check. The driver object will be registered with the driver manager class. So internally, actually, JDBC is also using the same mechanism. JDBC is also using the same mechanism. Now next pointer. Now next pointer. What exactly code is internally loaded? So definitely internally this kind of code is working behind the scene. See, driver D equal to new driver, then passing D here. Then definitely instead of D, directly can we write down new driver directly? Yes or no? Simple logic. Driver D equal to new driver, then passing the parameter D. So instead of doing the same job, definitely you can directly replace the D line with that one. Yes or no? So same job is actually done here also. Yes or no? Same job is done here also. So do not get confused that sir, they are the two different codes. No, they are the two different way of writing the same code. Okay. So the above line is written into the every drive class. We have already witnessed this thing. So first, what is going behind the scene? It is already done. Now, if you wanted to connect to the database, then you can see that we are talking about one class. The name of the class is called driver manager class. The name of the class is called driver manager class. So if I'm talking about the driver manager class, so I wanted to have discussion about the driver manager class. I'm into the driver and looking for driver manager, driver manager, driver manager. Can you see the driver manager class is defined in java.sql package? And if you take a look at the methods, then can you see that all the methods are static? Yes or no? Just focus on the static keyword. And because it is containing all the static methods, so can I call it a utility class? Remember collections class in collection framework? All the utility methods were there. Yes, it is same thing. So because it is containing all the static method, so definitely we can be slightly relaxed. No need to worry too much about what exactly going on. So simple. If I'm talking about the driver manager class, into the driver manager class, there is one method available. The name of the method is called get connection method. So if I'm talking about the get connection method, then you can see that the get connection method is having the first form. There is some URL and property file is also there. Apart from this, if I'm talking about some more portions, or if I'm talking about some more versions, then let me actually come here and I'm talking about some more version, find all. So can you see the second version where actually URL, username and password it is demanding? If you can see, one version is available. It is demanding for username and password. If I'm talking about the second version, then you can see that into the second version, there is one more variant available that is accepting only string only. Let me come back to the PPT. Please find both syntaxes I have already pasted on chat, both method signatures, yes or no? Yes, it is. So this is actually, you can say that step number 2 for the connectivity. Step number 1, you should load the driver class. To load the driver class, there is very simple logic available. You need to write down class.foundName com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Step number 2, using the driver manager class, such that driver manager class is a utility class. It is containing all the static method. Using the driver manager class, you need to call the get connection method. You need to call the get connection method such that the get connection method is having the two forms. One of the form is available where you need to form the string URL, and second form is available which is comparatively a cleaner form, and normally I used to go with the second form. First of all, if I'm talking about, sir, what is the value of the URL, then the value of the URL is going to be same always for you for all the project. First of all, if I'm talking about the protocol, then into the protocol, or for example, let's say that if I'm talking about the format of the URL, then just actually I'm writing one example for you. Then just take a look at the chat. I have written one URL, http://www.masaischool.com/about us. Here in this part, if I'm talking about the first portion, that is HTTP, so can I say that HTTP is a protocol? Yes or no? Yes, it is. If I'm talking about the www, it is subdomain part that actually shows what kind of service you are running. If I'm talking about Masai School, then definitely Masai School is the name of the domain. Yes, it is. If I'm talking about the com, then definitely .com or com is going to be the top level domain. Yes, it is. And then if I'm talking about the /about us, then definitely /about us is all about specific page of the, it's all about a specific page of the site. So simple decoding is clear, everyone, of a URL. Yes, it is. Now I am writing one more URL for you. The one more URL I am writing is JDBC :MySQL /, then I am writing localhost / and thereafter let's say that I am writing name of the database, that is SB101 underscore block 23 underscore DB. Please focus on this URL. No need to go in any type of hurry, but simple, just actually read the URL one time or two time. Just read the URL one time, two time, three time, any number of times you can read this URL. I hope that you have done with reading with the URL. Now please take a look at my chat message. Please take a look at my chat message. So can I say that JDBC :MySQL here is a protocol name? Domain name is localhost because your database and your Java application both are residing on the same machine. Both are residing on the same machine. That's why domain name is localhost. After that /, you can see that SB101 underscore B23 underscore DB. This is what actually name of your database is. So point is clear, everyone, how to form the URL for your connectivity. So this is going to be the fixed value of the URL. Maximum, just you need to change name of the database. Clear, everybody? Yes, it is. And chances are there that instead of localhost, you may find this IP address also, 127.0.0.1. So definitely both are same. If you are writing localhost or if you are writing 127.0.0.1, then both are 100% same. Is that clear? Yes, it is. And on some websites, one more thing, just for your knowledge, you may find something like this, that localhost :3306. So if you are writing localhost :3306, or if you are writing simple localhost, both are same. But actually what this 3306 is, this 3306 is actually port number for MySQL database service. Just for your knowledge, I am actually updating you. Writing :3306 is not compulsory. If you are writing, then it is okay. If you are not writing, still it is okay. But definitely what exactly the number 3306 is, so you should always answer that, sir, 3306 is the port number of the MySQL service. Getting my point? What is 3306? What is 127.0.0.1? Oh, now one out of the box question is that, sir, what is port number? One out of the box question is there. That's sir, what is port number? Okay, see, just I'm quickly summarizing it. Let's say that you are going to Secretariat office of your state. Secretariat office is often very big, and in that lot of rooms are there, and actually every room is kind of responsible for doing some specific operation. Yes or no? Can I say this thing? Yes, it is. So can I say that your secretariat is actually offering you n number of services? Yes or no? Second number point, for every service there is a specific room number. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Now come to my analogy. Your server is a computer machine, and definitely as a computer machine it is also capable to provide you a lot of services. The lot of services can be very much like web surfing. It can provide you file upload download operation, it can provide remote login operation, it can provide you chat options, it can provide you many different type of services, such that database is also a type of service. Is that point clear? Now second number point. If I'm talking about, okay, so a lot of services are there. So how exactly your server will come to know that you are demanding what service, or exactly we can say that how exactly server is organizing these services. So server is saying that for every service, there is a unique port number. For every service, there is a unique port number. So like we are having a specific room number for a service in the secretariat office, similar to that, for a specific service on the server, we are having a port number also. Like some example, you all have very much comfortable with the HTTP protocol. For the HTTP protocol, the port number is 8080. You all are very much comfortable with the HTTPS protocol. For the HTTPS protocol, the port number is 447. You all know that we can actually send the email also, we can download the email also. For the sending and downloading the email, the port numbers are 25 and I think 110. For the telnet, there is port number available 23. For the FTP file upload download services, port number are 20 and 21. So overall, using the port number, actually a particular service is provided to you. Is that clear? Some abstract idea in your mind? Okay, that's good. So overall, actually, the thing is that whenever we are requesting a service from the server, so two things are there. First thing, that is called the IP address, such that IP address is the address of the server. Then there is port number. The port number actually specifies what kind of service you wanted to take. Getting my point? 100%. IP address is address of the server, but what service actually you wanted to avail, this is specified using the port number. And actually port number is normally of the 16-bit. 16-bit means total 65,536 port numbers are there. And out of 65,536 port numbers, first some 10,000, 11,000 port numbers are already occupied. They are already assigned to some services. Whenever new service is coming, it is coming up with a new port number. So for the MySQL, the default port number is 3306. For the HTTP, the default port number is 80. For the HTTPS, the default port number is actually 447. So for example, let's say that I am requesting the database, or I am requesting the database service. So here actually localhost is the name of the server. It can be 127.0.0.1 also, and 3306 is what? Simple 3306 is what your port number is. And actually port number is bind to a protocol, because service is represented by protocol, so definitely port number is bind to a protocol. Now listen, the URL that I have pasted, in the URL I have already written about protocol JDBC colon MySQL. Yes or no? Protocol is already mentioned, and for this protocol default port number is 3306. So if I'm writing 3306, then it is okay. If I'm not writing, still it is okay, because this is the default port number. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So this is what, well, come back to our discussion. So second thing, whenever I wanted to connect to the database, then definitely to connect to the database, better to use the second method. URL pattern, I have already told you. Apart from the URL pattern, the next thing we have to specify is the name and password. What exactly this name is going to be? This name is going to be your username that you have created at the time of installation of MySQL. And second thing is going to be password. So if you remember, then I told you that I am using username root, password root. At the time of installation of your MySQL database, whatever user ID password combination you have used, you need to write them. Getting my point? Yes, it is. That's good. So when actually you are firing this method, then two possibilities are there. Possibility number one, connection is successful. And definitely if the connection is successful, if the connection is successful, then it is going to return you object of connection interface. If the connection is failed, then definitely you have to face SQL exception, such that in this SQL exception, exact reason why your connection is failed, it will be mentioned for you. Getting my point? So simple logic, if successful, then we will get object of connection. If failed, then definitely we will get SQL exception. Did you remember Anu and Bhakti analogy? Same kind of situation was there. Yes, it is. So throws is there. Yes, it is. Okay. So what exactly a connection is? So a connection is a session between the Java application and a database. It helps to establish a connection with the database. What exactly connection is? You can see that the connection interface is a factory of statement, prepared statement, and database metadata, i.e. object of connection can be used to get the object of statement and database metadata. Third point, the connection interface actually provide many methods for transaction management like commit, rollback, set auto commit, set transaction isolation, etc. etc. So please take a look at the method, especially if I'm talking about these two. I think you are comfortable. On the day of Saturday, we had discussed about commit and rollback. Did you remember that we had discussion about get auto commit and save point? Yes, it is. So these are only some methods. I'm not saying that only these methods are available. Practically, a lot of methods are available, but some are. Apart from that, one method is available that is called create statement. One method is available called prepared statement. And there is one more method available that is close method. So I think close method is self-explanatory. Yes or no? That is to close the connection. Okay. So far, overall, the pointer is that whenever you wanted to connect to the database, then definitely to connect to the database, the very first thing that you need to do is class.forName, etc., etc. Then the second thing that you need to use is you need to use the get connection method. So shall I take one example in which I will show you that how to connect to the database? Yes or no? Just one simple example I'm saying you. Now, so coming to here, and now I'm closing a lot of manager classes, etc., etc. So we are in the demo. Demo was just a package. Okay, let me continue with this package. Going to create a new class. Name of the class I am writing is, let it call it connect to database demo. Let me call it connect to database demo. Just actually you need to follow the steps one by one, clicking on finish. See, first of all, definitely MySQL connector jar file is already attached. This is the step number one. Already done. Comfortable, everyone? Do not start writing the code directly in your project. First, you have to actually attach this MySQL connector jar file. Now, MySQL connector jar file is done. I am in the main method. First of all, definitely write code to load the driver class. Write code to load the driver class. And definitely to load, I need to write down class.forName. And into the class.forName, I need to write down com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Yes or no? This is the step number one. And definitely this step is throwing an exception, and the exception is going to be class not found exception. So just for the sake of exception handling, let's say that I'm writing catch block here, and into the catch block, I'm mentioning here class not found exception ex, and then ex dot print stack trace. So first of all, everybody, this is what I have done with the step number 1. After doing the step number 1, then definitely call the get connection method using driver manager class. So the thing that I need to write down is driver manager. You can see that driver manager class is part of java.sql package. Yes or no? Hit enter. Okay, so I am writing driver manager dot get connection. I used to normally go with the third one, and see here, if I'm talking about a string, let's say that I'm talking about the word URL. So definitely into the URL, we need to write down JDBC colon MySQL colon /localhost slash. What is the name of the databases? So let me open the MySQL command line client. It is asking for password. It is root in my case. Then I'm talking about show databases. Show databases. So let me copy this name. So the name of the database is, right click and pasted the same name. String URL. After string URL, then I'm talking about the username. And if I'm talking about the username, then definitely username is going to be root. Thereafter. Then I'm talking about the string password, and in my case, password is also root. So accordingly, definitely for the first parameter, I need to provide the value URL. For the second parameter, I need to provide the value username. For the third parameter, I'm writing the value password. And what exactly it is going to return me? Definitely it is going to return me object of connection class. So see, I'm writing here CONN, and data type for con is going to be connection. Data type is going to be connection. Now, one point that I would love to mention you very, very specifically. Many of the time, you will find that some classes defined in java.sql package also, and the same class is defined in some com.mysql package also. Because you are using JDBC, so definitely we have to deal with the interfaces only. And when we have to deal with the interfaces only, so definitely we have to import classes from java.sql package only, even if some other option is also available. Getting my point? Yes, it is. Always keep in mind. Then possibly there is one more type of exception available. The one more type of exception is called SQL exception. And to write the code to handle this exception, I can use this syntax. Did you remember this? J111, day number 11. I think day number 12 it was, where I told you that if you wanted to write down common code for multiple different type of exception, then you can separate them with the help of OR operator also. Okay, see, now there are two things. Let's say if there is exception here, then definitely it will directly jump to catch block and the statement will not be executed. Case number 2, if there is, let's say that exception here. Case number 2, let's say if there is exception here, then in this condition, it will directly jump to the catch block. So can I say that if connection is successful due to line number 17, then definitely line number 18 will not execute? Yes or no? Simple logic. I'm saying that let's say if I'm writing system.out.println connection successful. If this line number 18 is executed, then definitely there is no exception in the above code. Yes or no? And if there is no exception in the above code, then definitely connection is successful. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And if there is any exception, then definitely connection successful will not be printed because it will directly jump to the catch block. Yes or no? Simple logic. That's good. So I'm printing the message connection successful. And definitely when I am opening the connection, so it's my moral duty to close the connection also. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And definitely to close the connection, I need to call the close method. So one minor change I am doing, because actually this variable is defined inside the try block. So definitely this variable will not be accessible outside the try block. But I need this variable later on also. So initially, before the try block, I am writing connection con equal to null. I am writing here connection con equal to null. Is that point clear? Yes or no? Now the point is that I told you multiple times that whatever be the shutdown action kind of thing is there, or whenever you wanted to recover some resource, then definitely resource recovery related code must be written inside the finally block. Did you remember this? Because finally block will be executed always, no matter whether exception is there or exception is not there. So see, simple logic I am writing. If the value of con is equal to null, then can I say that no connection was there? Yes, it is. Just opposite, if I'm saying that if the value of con is not equal to there, means definitely connection was established. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And definitely if the connection is established, then I need to write down con dot close method, but there is an error. Why exactly there is an error? Because if I'm talking about the close method, then definitely the close method itself is actually throwing the SQL exception, because itself it is actually throwing the SQL exception. So definitely here I need to write down the catch block, then I need to write down SQL exception EX, and after writing the SQL exception EX, then whatever code, let's say again the same thing, we need to call the print stack trace method. So just one by one. Just one by one. Step number one. The step number one is to load the driver class of the jar file into the JVM. Clear or not? Because JVM is a different thing, jar file is a different thing. So definitely you have to load the jar file into the JVM, and to load the jar file into the JVM, this is the line number one. Possible exception is class not found exception. What can be the possible reason of class not found exception? When your jar file is not attached. That's all. Second, then we are actually forming the URL. The component of the URL is fixed. Later on, you just have to make changes here only. JDBC colon MySQL is always fixed. / localhost is going to be fixed for you, because I am not assuming that you are going to have the database on some server for the learning purpose. In future, in the company, when your database server is different, then you need to write down IP address of the database server here. Otherwise, localhost is fine for you. Third thing is the name of the database. In my case, name of the database is SB101 block 23 DB1. In your data case, it can be any. In future, if you are working on some other database, then you just need to make changes in the database name only. Username, password, I am not assuming that you are having different users. Only one user is more than sufficient for you. Now, class is loaded, and definitely we are going to make the connection. To make the connection, driver manager.get connection method is called. First parameter is URL, second parameter is the username, and third parameter is the password. Is that clear, everyone? Yes or no? Okay, so here simple point. Definitely if there is no exception, everything is okay, then we will get the message connection successful. And after printing the connection successful, definitely connection closing is going to be done smoothly. Yes or no? Connection closing is going to be done smoothly. Yes, it is. So if you wanted to put the message, for example, let's say system.out.println, and here if we are writing that connection closed, then definitely you can write down that thing also. Write down that thing also. Now going to next part. So overall, initially everybody, first of all, shall I try to run this code to see what exactly the output is? Okay, just a minute. Okay, so let me try to run this code. Alt Shift X J. I'm getting connection successful and then connection closed. So this was one extremely simple example where I shown you that how to open the connection and how to close the connection. I hope this example is clear to everyone, but those who are having any doubt, only those scholars should write on chat. Yeah. All comfortable? Yes or no? Yes, it is. That's good. That's good. That's good. One scholar is asking, sir, only local host will work. See everyone, why I'm using local host, you know it very well. When your database and your Java application, they reside on the same machine, then you need to use local host. But let's say if your Java application is available on computer A, your database is available on computer B. So first of all, they should be connected by some network. Yes or no? And every device that is connected to internet, it is having some IP address. Yes or no? So in this condition, in the Java code, you need to write down IP address of your database machine instead of localhost. Clear? And in future, if your IP address is changed due to connection reset, then you have to make changes in your code also. So that's why it is better to do practice on the local machine, because you are not having static IP addresses. Okay, so this part is done. This part is done. See, so how to make the connection? This part is also done, that okay sir, connection making is successful. And definitely now if I'm talking about the third part, then the third part is going to be fire the query on SQL, because this is the ultimate objective. We should be able to actually fire the insert operation, update operation, delete operation. Apart from that, we should be able to use the select query. Definitely this is the next thing that we are having. So connectivity part is already done from your side. How to do this thing? Meanwhile, one scholar is actually asking that, sir, please show the example using the first also. Means if you are having only one. So listen everybody, when you are having actually, when you are using the first syntax, in the first syntax, when you are talking about the only one parameter, in this parameter, see how exactly you need to write down. I'm pasting the answer on chat only. Look at the message on chat. So if you are using the first version of the get connection method, then in the first version of the get connection method, you need to specify like this. Getting my point? But not a very good approach in my opinion, because second one is comparatively a cleaner code. Second one is comparatively a cleaner code. It's your choice. Whatever you wanted to use, you can use. So connection making is successful. Now it's time when we are talking about firing the query. So if I'm talking about the firing the query, then see everyone, for firing the queries, we will actually talk about two different interfaces. The first interface is called statement interface, and second interface is also available, that is called prepared statement interface. For today, I am talking about the statement interface only. First, we will be comfortable with the statement interface. Then I will tell you what is the shortcoming of the statement interface and how to get rid of that shortcoming using prepared statement interface. So overall, the summarization is that we are having two entities or two different interfaces. The first interface is called statement interface that we are going to discuss today, and definitely at the start of tomorrow also. Then we will talk about prepared statement. This is the overall mantra that you should keep into your mind. You can see I'm in the, if I'm talking about the connection interface, then you can see that into the connection interface, there is one method available. The name of the method is called public statement create statement throws SQL exception. Here can you see that name of the method is create statement, but the return type of this method is an object of statement interface. Yes or no? And this method is throwing a checked exception, that is SQL exception also. So overall point is very, very simple. That's why we do not have to create a statement object using new keyword. To get the object of the statement, create a statement method is provided by the object of connection class already for us. What you can do with the statement object? Now with the statement object, you can see the statement interface is used to create the SQL basic statement in Java. It provides method to execute query with the database. Next point, the statement interface actually accept string as SQL queries. Thus, the code become less readable when we concatenate SQL string. Hence, statement interface is more suitable for the DDL statement and static SQL statement. Second number point, I will cover it slightly later with example, but overall simple point. Connection is created. Using connection, we have taken statement. When a statement is available to us, so can I say that practically statement is an object that is used to fire the query on the MySQL, or can we say that statement is actually a carrier that is used to carry the SQL query from Java to MySQL database? Yes or no? Yes, your connection is very much like a highway. Statement is very much like a truck that is actually carrying the SQL from Java to your MySQL database. Analogy is clear. Real life example is clear. Hope it is clear to everyone. So the statement interface, and you can see that in the statement interface, multiple methods are available. One of the method is available whose name is called execute update method and string DML. So as the name already specify or the parameter already specify, can we say that the execute update method is used to execute DML statement only, like insert, update, delete? Yes or no? The execute update is always used to perform these kind of operations: insert, update, delete. Look at the return type. If I'm talking about the return type, then return type is already integer. What is the mean of that integer is using a single insert query. I can insert a single record also, as well as more than one record also. Yes or no? Definitely. I can actually insert one or more record. Similar to that, if I'm talking about the update query, then definitely using the update query, one or more records can be updated also. Yes or no? But possibility is there that no record will be updated. Let's say that you are writing a condition that is not matching to any record. For example, by mistake, you are writing increase the percentage of all scholars by 10%, whose percentage is more than equal to more than 100%. Say, so chances are there that zero or more record will be updated using update query. Yes or no? Similar to that, if I'm talking about the delete query, using delete query, zero or more records can be deleted. Yes, it is. So what exactly this integer return is? This return integer value is actually number of records affected. This is actually total number of records affected. Getting my point? So total number of records affected may be zero or may be more than one. Yes or no? So this is called what your execute update method is. So execute update method is used for the executing the DML statement. It is returning an integer value that shows how many records are affected by your query. So for the insert query, definitely if you are getting the result one or more, then your query is successful. Yes or no? Next part. Next part. If you wanted to go for the select query that I will cover tomorrow, then definitely for the select query, there is one more method available that is called execute query method. You need to pass the DRL statement as a parameter, and definitely you are going to get the result set from there. What is the use of result set? Don't worry, we will talk about this thing in the detail. Third is available, for example, Boolean execute. And let's say that if I'm saying you are having simple some DDL statement or you are having some alter table statement, then in case of the alter table statement, if you are getting the result in the terms of true or false, still it is sufficient. Yes or no? So there actually you can go with this third version, but mainly version number 1 and version number 2, they are the most popular. The statement object is associated to which connection? You can get using this method also. The name of the method is called get connection method. And if you wanted to close the statement object, then definitely you can close the statement object also. And always keep in mind, if you remember the example of the buffer reader class, there I told you that if you are closing the buffer reader object, then its underlying file will be closed automatically. Remember? Hardly to 1 or 2 scholars it is remembered. The same thing is applicable here, that let's say if you are closing a connection, so whenever you are closing a connection, then its corresponding statement object will be closed automatically. Getting my point? So if you are actually creating the collection, firing the SQL, closing the connection, then no need to close the statement object separately. No need to close the object separately. Okay, so shall I take one small example? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And right now, actually, I wanted to create a table. So first of all, let me get entry into this database. So I'm writing here, use database name semicolon. You can see that database is changed. And there I'm writing show space databases semicolon. So, oh, sorry, show tables query is what I wanted to fire. So I'm writing show tables. So you can see that account, category, CBSE, student, product, soldier, and ST, these tables are available. Let me create a new table. It's going to be a new experience for you. So I'm writing here, let's say create table. Name of the table I'm writing is student. First column I'm writing is ID, it's integer. Then I'm mentioning it primary key. And apart from mentioning it primary key, I'm making it auto increment. I'm making it auto increment. Next column, let's say I'm talking to you roll number, and roll number can be of the varchar type, like you are having your student code in the Masai school. Yes or no? I can make it unique. And apart from making it unique, I'm making it not null also. So definitely it is kind of equivalent to a primary key, but not exactly a primary key. Yes, it is. Thereafter, I'm talking about name. Again, I'm writing varchar. Size exactly, I'm writing 10. And after writing 10, the constraint I'm writing is not null. After writing the constraint not null, let me talk about the next thing. I'm calling it percentage. For the percentage, or better to use the CGPA. For the CGPA, definitely data type I'm writing is decimal, and size I'm writing is 3, 1. What is the mean of 3, 1? Before decimal point, how many places will be there in 3, 1? Before decimal point, how many places will be there? Total number of places are 3. 3, 1 means after decimal. 3, 1 means total places are 3, means precision is 3. 1 means scale, that is the number of digit after decimal point. So number of digit after decimal point is 1. So definitely number of decimal points before the number of digit before the decimal point will be 2. Getting my point? So can I say it can store any value from 0.0 to 99.9? Yes or no? Yes, it is. But actually CGPA is calculated from 10. So practically we will say that logically it will have the value from 0.0 to 10.0. And let's say that if you wanted to specify the default value 5.0, then definitely we can specify the default value also. Yes or no? Finally, let's say that I'm talking about one more thing. This is called registration underscore date. The data type of registration date is date itself. For the date, you are not supposed to specify any size. And if I'm writing here, describe student semicolon. Can you see? Entire table is available for you, and auto increment is something that is new for you, such that when I will write down the insert query, this time I will not write down value for the ID column. When I will insert the first record, then automatically value for the ID column will be 1. For the next record, it will be 2. For the next record, it will be 3, and so on. It will go on. So what is the use of auto increment? It is clear? Yes or no? And definitely, if you wanted to make a column auto increment, then that column must be a primary key. So if you wanted to create a hidden primary key, then definitely better to use ID column with primary key auto increment and of type integer. Is that clear? Because this is actually better way to conceal the information. How exactly internally your system is working. For this thing, this is the best practice. Now, let me come to the next case. Now let me come to the next case. Right now, if I'm writing select star from student, right now, if I'm writing select star from student, then can you see that result set is actually empty? We are not having any record. Counting is 100% 0. So now I'm going to write down one example in which using the insert statement, we will actually insert the record using the JDBC. So I'm coming here, code to connect to the database is already with me, yes or no? Code to connect to the database is already with me. So for the sake of brevity, means time saving, I'm doing copying this code. So creating one class, name of the class I am writing as insert student JDBC demo, hitting enter. After hitting enter, then creating the public static void main method, and this one is the code to connect to database. Any problem till here? Everything okay? Yes, it is. Removing the system.out.println messages. Now see, I wanted to, so next thing, create SQL query for inserting the record. Create SQL query for inserting the record. So here actually I am writing a string insert statement equal to insert into what is the name of the table? Name of the table is student, and then definitely I need to mention name of the columns also. So name of the first column is actually roll number. So I have copied and pasted. The second column is name. See, this is the best practice to copy and paste, because even if you have by mistake done some typing mistake in the database, then this will actually save you. Getting my point? What is the advantage of copying? Okay. So insert into student, then I'm writing roll number, name, CGPA, registration, then writing the values. Let's say for the roll number, I'm writing the value R001. For the name, I'm writing the value ABC. For CGPA, let's say I'm writing 9.2. Let's say that if I wanted to put the registration date of today, then to put the registration of date today, can I use the credit function of MySQL directly? Yes or no? Perfect. And if I'm talking about R001 and ABC, then definitely they are actually string value. So they must be inside the single quotation or in the double quotation mark. Yes or no? So SQL statement is created. SQL statement is created. Now what I'm writing? Create or get object of statement for this connection. So here actually I am writing. Can you see that statement is available at two locations? What shall I import, first or second? Please write on chat. Always keep in mind second one java.sql. Always keep in mind second one java.sql. So I'm writing statement state equal to, then definitely we need to write down con.create statement. So object of connection I have taken. Now second thing, definitely can I call the execute update method for this insert statement? Yes or no? Clear everyone? And simple logic, I can directly state here. If the value is already greater than 0, then can I say that record is inserted successfully? Because execute update method is used to return how many records are affected. This insert query is to insert only one record. So if it is returning greater than 0, then what can value it return? Only 1. If it is returning value 1, then definitely insert query is successful. So in this condition, can I put the message that student added successfully? Yes or no? If this is not the case, then we can put the message that something went wrong. Yet there is almost no chance. Yet almost there is no chance, because if there is any problem, then you will directly jump to the exception case. Directly you will jump to the exception case. So overall you can see that, sir, everything is same. Just practically I have added 3 lines. Yes or no? And such that writing the insert query is nothing but, so practically can you see that SQL statement is just a string value for Java programming, such that Java does not have anything to do with the SQL statement. And To ship the SQL statement from Java to database, we have to use the object of statement. Getting my point? Shall I try to run this code once? So Alt Shift X, J, hitting enter, getting the message, student added successfully. So let us come to the database, writing the select star query. Is that same information I have added? Yes, it is. So I think now this is very easy for you. How to connect to the database, what is the use of JDBC, which package to import, how to fire the SQL query using JDBC. Is that all clear, everybody? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So all these codes will be shared to you. Those who have already watched the pre-class video and gone through the notes, I hope that they are finding that this is very beneficial and this is very easy for them. This is very easy for them. So everyone, I think that is sufficient for day to print the table, etc. See, JDBC is not completed. Update query, delete query, select query, how to use the select query, all the example we will take, but not today, definitely tomorrow. Not today, definitely tomorrow. Actually, we will use this. Whatever SQL statement that we have learned, using the insert query, inserting multiple records, using the subquery, etc., etc. Any SQL statement you can fire using JDBC, no problem. For example, let's say that you have actually inserted 2 records using one insert query. Then in this condition, the execute update method is going to return you 2. So whatever SQL you have learned, everything is okay. Those who are facing any kind of difficulty, they are requested to follow the things step by step, because during the class, such situation happened 2 or 3 times. I am teaching you point A and B. People are jumping on point number C. They are getting the error and they are asking in between of the class, and solving such kind of error is not possible in between of the class. I will provide you these codes also, possibly within next 20 minutes. So you are requested to go through the code again. Still, those who are facing difficulty in connectivity, please try to attach the jar file again, because this can be the only possible reason. Rest of everything is fine. So I think that is sufficient for the day. Yes or no? It's 2 p.m. your lunch time. Yes, it is. Okay. Kritika, do we are having feedback form for today?
Sir, actually feedback form is already shared in class link.
Okay, okay.
They can
It
directly
is.
fill it through LMS only.
They can directly fill it through LMS. It's okay, okay. Is it in Google form or something else?
No, it when they will like enter on like a class link, they will get that form.
Okay, everyone. So today,
Also.
okay, okay. No, you are requested to recording in progress. Recording stopped is better choice.